If you are listening to this right now, it is not accidental. This message does not reach everyone. It reaches you because something inside you is already awake even if you haven't fully named it yet. You may have noticed the timing feels strange, like this found you in a quiet moment, or late at night, or while you were scrolling without intention, just feeling that familiar distance from the world. That's how this works. This message arrives when the noise drops low enough for you to hear yourself again. You are stepping into the Leo full moon portal, active between February 1st and 2nd, 2026, at 13 degrees of Leo. And before we go any further, take a breath. Because this is not just an astrology reading. This is an energetic checkpoint. Welcome to Love for Intuitive Astrology, a space created for the quiet observers, the emotionally sensitive, the ones who feel more than they show. Here, astrology isn't used to predict your fate. It's used to help you recognize where you already are. This reading works differently than most. We begin with your rising sign, because that's where this full moon is actually landing in your life. Your sun and moon signs come second, shaping how you process, react, and integrate what unfolds. Nothing here is random. Nothing here is generalized. As we move through this Leo full moon, you'll hear both collective themes and sign-by-sign messages woven together, intuitive insight blended with grounded astrological awareness. Some parts will feel gentle. Others may feel uncomfortably precise. And you don't need to understand everything yet. Some of this will only click later, after a conversation, after a realization, after a moment where you catch yourself reacting and wonder why. For now, just stay with me, because this full moon isn't asking you to change who you are. It's asking you why you've been hiding it. And that question is only just beginning to unfold. The core energy of the Leo full moon. You may not have planned to be seen. In fact, part of you may have spent years perfecting the art of staying just out of reach. Present, but not exposed. Capable, but not fully revealed. That's why this Leo full moon feels uncomfortable. Leo rules the parts of you that don't whisper. It governs creativity, passion, self-expression, and the courage to take up space. This is fifth house energy, joy that isn't justified, love that isn't strategic, and talents that don't ask permission before existing. And under this full moon, those parts of you are illuminated whether you're ready or not. You may feel a pull toward what once made you feel alive. A hobby you abandoned because it didn't feel serious enough. A creative idea you dismissed because no one clapped the first time. A version of yourself that laughed louder before the world taught you to be careful. Leo doesn't ask if it's practical. It asks if it's true. And this is where the tension begins. Because visibility is not the same as validation, yet they often get confused. You may notice old patterns surfacing, the urge to be recognized, to be chosen, to be affirmed by others before you allow yourself to shine. But this full moon isn't here to give you applause. It's here to show you what happens when you stop waiting for it. You might feel exposed emotionally, more reactive to how others see you, more aware of where you've been shrinking to stay safe, likable, or unchallenged. And if you're honest, part of you already knows this moment has been building for a long time. Leo energy doesn't force you onto a stage. It simply turns the light on and waits to see if you'll step forward on your own. You don't have to perform. You don't have to prove anything. But you do have to decide whether your heart gets to lead again, or if fear will keep making your choices for you. This full moon asks a quiet but powerful question. Who are you when no one is applauding, and do you still show up as yourself? Hold that with you. Because what rises next will challenge it in ways you may not expect. The Aquarius opposition, collective tension and awakening. You may feel it as a distance first. A subtle emotional gap between you and people who once felt close. Or a sudden awareness that the room you're standing in no longer fits who you're becoming. This Leo full moon stands directly opposite the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Aquarius, and that opposition matters. Because Aquarius doesn't ask, "Who am I?" It asks, "Where do I belong?" Aquarius governs friendships, communities, social systems, and the invisible agreements we make to stay connected. It rules technology, group dynamics, movements, and shared visions of the future. And right now, All of that is pulling against Leo's desire to be fully, unapologetically yourself. You may notice shifts in your social world. Friendships feel different. Group spaces feel colder, louder, or suddenly misaligned. You might feel unseen in a crowd, or strangely more yourself when you're alone. This isn't rejection. It's recalibration. Under this full moon, the tension between individual truth and collective expectation becomes impossible to ignore. You're being shown where you've adapted your personality to belong, where you've muted your opinions to keep the peace, where you've agreed silently even when something inside you pulled away. And Aquarius energy will test this. Through conversations. Through comments that land a little too sharp. Through observing who celebrates your growth and who goes quiet when you step forward. You may feel torn, wanting freedom, but still craving connection, wanting authenticity, but fearing isolation. That inner conflict is not a flaw. It's the awakening. Because the lesson here isn't to abandon the collective. It's to stop betraying yourself inside it. This full moon teaches balance, not compromise. You are not meant to disappear to belong. And you are not meant to dominate to be seen. Some connections will evolve. Some will fall away naturally. Others will surprise you by meeting you at your new frequency. Pay attention to the spaces where your voice feels restricted, and the ones where it finally breathes. Because as this tension builds, something deeper begins to stir beneath the surface. And it won't stay hidden much longer. Mars, Pluto, shadow, triggers and transformation. This is where the energy stops being subtle. You may notice your reactions feel stronger than usual. Sharper, more immediate, like something inside you has less patience for pretending everything is fine. That's the Mars-Pluto conjunction activating beneath this full moon, and it doesn't deal in surface emotions. It goes straight to what's been buried. Mars stirs action, desire, and anger. Pluto exposes power, control, and the truths we avoid because they feel dangerous to acknowledge. Together, they press on old pressure points, especially around jealousy, competition, and unspoken resentment. You might catch yourself reacting to someone else's success, or feeling triggered by a comment that normally wouldn't matter, or sensing tension in the air without knowing exactly where it came from. These reactions aren't random. They're mirrors. This energy brings shadow material into the light, not to shame you, but to free you. It shows you where you felt powerless, where you've swallowed anger to stay acceptable, where you've compared your timeline to someone else's and quietly decided you were behind. And here's the part most people miss. Triggers don't mean you're failing. They mean something is ready to be integrated. Under this full moon, you're being asked to pause before reacting, to notice the heat without letting it burn everything down, to choose a conscious response instead of an automatic one. You may feel the urge to confront, to speak a truth you've been holding back, to draw a line where you've been overly accommodating. If you do, let it come from clarity, not from the need to win. Because Mars-Pluto energy can either deepen power struggles or dissolve them entirely. What transforms now isn't the other person. It's your relationship to control, to self-trust, to the belief that you have to fight to exist. Something old is breaking open. And once you see it clearly, you won't be able to unsee it. What you choose to do with that awareness will shape everything that follows. Creativity, announcements, and public visibility. You may feel the urge to say something out loud now. Not because you want attention, but because staying silent suddenly feels heavier than being seen. This Leo full moon activates moments of announcement and exposure, the kind that shift how others perceive you, whether you intended it or not. Creative projects come forward. Skills you kept private begin asking for space. Decisions you've been sitting on reach a point of no return. For some, this looks literal. Launching a business. Sharing your work publicly. Revealing a relationship, a pregnancy, an achievement, or a personal truth that changes the narrative around you. For others, it's quieter but just as powerful. A boundary spoken for the first time. A refusal to downplay your abilities. A moment where you stop explaining yourself. And here's where the controversy comes in. Not everyone will respond the way you hoped. Some will celebrate you openly. Others will grow distant, passive, or strangely critical. You may notice subtle shifts, fewer messages, unread notifications, a change in tone that tells you everything without saying it directly. This is the price of visibility. And it's not a punishment. When you step into your light, you disrupt old dynamics. People who benefited from you staying small feel it. People who only knew the muted version of you don't know how to adjust. You're not doing anything wrong by shining. But you are learning who was comfortable only when you weren't. This full moon teaches confidence without defensiveness. It asks you to stand where you are without shrinking back to keep others comfortable. To let mixed reactions exist without interpreting them as failure. You don't need universal approval. You need self-alignment. Let them react. Let them adjust. Let the truth of who you are take up space. Because once you choose visibility from the heart, not ego, not fear, you stop asking the world for permission. And in the quiet after the reaction fades, you'll realize something important has already shifted inside you. But to hold that shift, something deeper must be understood. Healing through awareness and emotional maturity. After the reactions settle, after the words are spoken or left unsent, there's a quieter moment that follows. This is where real healing begins. You may notice that what upset you wasn't actually the situation itself, but the meaning you attached to it, the old wound it touched, the familiar fear of being misunderstood, overlooked, or emotionally exposed. This Leo full moon doesn't just reveal external dynamics. It shines a light on how you respond when your heart feels vulnerable. Triggers become teachers here. They show you where emotional maturity is being requested, not perfection, not detachment, but awareness. The ability to pause and ask, what part of me is reacting right now? Accountability doesn't mean self-blame. It means recognizing when old patterns are driving new moments. Where defensiveness replaces honesty. Where silence replaces clarity. Where pride protects pain instead of healing it. Aquarius energy supports this process by encouraging perspective. Instead of personalizing everything, you're asked to zoom out. To see the bigger picture. To communicate clearly rather than emotionally explode or emotionally disappear. You may feel called to handle conflict differently now. With calm. With boundaries that don't punish. With words that express truth without needing to wound. This is growth you can feel, even if no one else sees it yet. Emotional intelligence becomes your anchor. It allows you to hold compassion without self-abandonment, to listen without absorbing, to express without performing. And as you integrate this, something shifts in your energy. You stop needing to prove your worth through reaction. You stop seeking control through silence or intensity. You begin responding from self-respect. This maturity isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. But it changes the way people engage with you, and more importantly, the way you engage with yourself. Because as this full moon closes, the energy doesn't fade. It redirects. And what's coming next carries a different kind of electricity. One that doesn't warn you before it moves. Eclipse season and the unexpected energy. You may already sense it. That subtle feeling that something is loosening its grip. Like a door you didn't realize was locked has quietly opened on its own. This Leo full moon doesn't stand alone. It opens the threshold into eclipse season, with the upcoming Aquarius eclipse on February 17th. And eclipse energy doesn't negotiate. It rearranges. Expect the unexpected, not as chaos, but as correction. Sudden realizations may arrive without warning. Plans shift. Conversations reveal more than intended. Information surfaces that reframes everything you thought was stable. You might feel pulled toward change even if you don't have all the details yet. Or pushed away from situations that once felt secure but now feel limiting. This isn't loss, it's timeline adjustment. Aquarius eclipse energy accelerates collective movements. Innovation surges. Voices rise. Systems are questioned. You may notice more unrest, more truth-telling, more people refusing to play along with outdated structures. On a personal level, this shows up as a deep internal knowing. I can't keep doing it this way. And while part of you may crave certainty, this season asks for trust instead. Trust in your adaptability. Trust in your intuition. Trust that what's leaving now is making space for something more aligned. Fear doesn't disappear, but it stops driving. You're not meant to have all the answers during an eclipse window. You're meant to stay awake, present, and flexible. To observe before reacting. To let the new path reveal itself step by step. Something unexpected is moving toward you. Not to disrupt your life, but to realign it. And as the dust begins to shift, one final piece remains. A personal message that lands differently depending on who you are. And where this full moon touches your chart. How this Leo full moon affects you, all signs. Now this becomes personal. Because where this Leo full moon lands depends on your rising sign first. Your sun and moon add texture, but your rising sign tells the story of where life is asking you to respond. Listen for yourself. And notice what resonates quietly, not loudly. Aries rising. This full moon lights up your 5th house. Creativity, romance, joy, and self-expression. You're being called to reclaim something that once made you feel alive. A passion. A desire. A version of yourself that didn't ask permission. You may feel bold or oddly exposed. Let yourself enjoy without overthinking who's watching. Taurus rising. This full moon activates your 4th house. Home, family, and emotional foundations. Something private comes into focus. You may feel pulled to redefine what safety means to you. Old family dynamics surface not to trap you, but to be healed or released. Create emotional security from within. Gemini rising. Your 3rd house is illuminated, communication, thoughts, and your voice. Words matter now. Conversations land differently. You may feel the urge to finally say what you've been editing for too long. Speak with intention. Your truth carries more weight than you realize. Cancer rising. This full moon highlights your 2nd house, self-worth, money, and values. Questions around stability and recognition surface. You're being asked to redefine what you deserve, without tying it to approval. Confidence grows when you stop negotiating your worth. Leo rising. This is your full moon. Your 1st house is illuminated, identity, presence, and how you're seen. You may feel emotionally raw, visible, or deeply aware of how others respond to you. This isn't about ego. It's about embodiment. You're stepping into a more authentic version of yourself, whether others are ready or not. Virgo rising. Your 12th house comes into focus, the subconscious, solitude, and spiritual closure. This is a quiet but powerful release point. Old fears, habits, or emotional cycles dissolve if you let them. Rest is productive now. Listen to what your inner world has been trying to tell you. Libra rising. This full moon activates your 11th house, friendships, networks, and future visions. Social dynamics shift. Some connections deepen. Others fade naturally. You're being guided toward communities that reflect who you're becoming, not who you were. Scorpio rising. Your 10th house lights up career, reputation, and public life. Visibility increases whether you asked for it or not. Recognition may come with pressure. Stand confidently in your authority without explaining yourself. This is a turning point in how you're perceived. Sagittarius rising. This full moon expands your 9th house, beliefs, truth, and direction. You may question old philosophies or feel pulled toward a new path. Learning, travel, or spiritual insight shifts your perspective. Let curiosity lead instead of certainty. Capricorn rising. Your 8th house is illuminated, intimacy, power, and emotional depth. This is transformational energy. Old attachments, fears, or control patterns surface to be released. Trust deepens when you stop resisting vulnerability. Aquarius rising. This full moon activates your 7th house, relationships and mirrors. Partnership dynamics come into focus. You see others more clearly and yourself through them. Balance independence with emotional presence. Not every connection is meant to stay the same. Pisces rising. Your 6th house lights up routines, health, and daily life. Small changes make a big difference now. You're being asked to honor your energy more intentionally. Structure doesn't limit you, it supports you. Wherever this full moon touches your chart, The message is the same at its core. You are allowed to be seen without performing. You are allowed to shine without apologizing. You are allowed to change without explaining every step. Let this awareness settle. Not everything will resolve immediately, but something has already shifted, and you can feel it. And that feeling is how you know this reached you for a reason. If you are feeling this full moon deeply, know this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are exactly where you are meant to be, standing at the edge of a version of yourself that has been waiting for this moment to arrive. The Leo full moon has shown you where your light has been hidden, where your voice has been softened, and where your heart has been waiting to step forward. It has challenged you, yes, but not to punish you, to awaken you. To remind you that your authenticity is your power, and your presence matters even when the world doesn't notice immediately. This isn't just a reading. It's an invitation. An invitation to reclaim your creativity, your joy, and your truth. To step into visibility without fear, to honor your boundaries, and to trust your own rhythm. The collective shifts, the eclipse season, the unexpected changes, all of it is happening for you, not to you. Take a moment today to pause, reflect, and ask yourself, where am I hiding my light? What part of me is ready to be seen? And if this message resonated with you, here's how to deepen the experience. Like and subscribe for more intuitively guided astrology readings. Share your rising sign and what you felt in the comments. Your experience might guide another chosen one through this portal. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming Aquarius eclipse insights. They will carry even deeper clarity for your journey. Remember, this isn't just astrology. It's your reflection, your awakening, your reminder that you are seen by the universe and by yourself. Step forward. The light has been waiting for you.